And I will say good evening to everybody. It is so beautiful to have you guys here. I am so excited for Fridays. I just really love getting closer to Fridays as they come up because the things that sort of happen during the week really play into what I have already planned as for a Friday night subject. And it's beautiful how, hey, Sabrina, nice to see you. Thanks for hopping on. And I was just saying, the week kind of always sort of transforms my class, whatever it is that I want to teach by cosmically kind of going into what's going on in the field right now. And just, I want to ask you guys, have you noticed? So cosmically, we had these retrogrades happening, right? Mercury retrograde, and we were saying that once we get into Saturn retrograde here, now Mercury's sort of straightened itself out again, but the Saturn energy is really flowing, but it's really intense in that
Yeah.
if we were to have resistances to something, or if we were to have self sabotaging patterns, they have been showing themselves in the last couple of weeks in some pretty crazy ways. There's a lot of people have reported to me feeling very disconnected, feeling very uncomfortable at times, feeling like uncomfortable in like, oh, do I really want this? There are things that we've been really working towards, and it can be absolutely anything. And when we think about it, it could be money, it could be health, it could be just staying focused on our true end result of our true nature and purpose. But there was some resistances that were coming up very strongly for a lot of people. And this is what Saturn retrograde does. Saturn retrograde, basically what it does is it shows you what you're capable of. It's really showing you, it's giving you that opportunity to ask those questions to yourself. And when we ask those questions, what I'm finding is when we really listen to the answer, when we really tune into the answer, for me anyways, and maybe it's just where I'm at, but it feels like when I ask those questions to myself now, like, what do I really want? Do I really want this? This kind of thing. The answer is like a hell yeah, instead of getting distracted, letting that monkey mind take over and bring you off. Like I was thinking, even in my own state, right? Like knowing that I love this, waking up every day loving it. I even had a couple days where I was like, is this what I'm meant to be doing? And I was like, why am I questioning this? Like it was really uncomfortable. And I was like, I don't get it. But then I stopped and I thought, and I have so many big things coming up. Like we're doing Wounds to Wisdom with, I have it with a couple other coaches there. And there's like a whole bunch of people that have registered, and then all that, resistance comes in. And I was like, but I love this. This is all I want to do. So yeah, like I was able to just kind of let it go instead of letting it drag me off into a pattern of dysfunction and going into that. So it was beautiful to recognize for myself, but it was hella uncomfortable having to go into some of those questions. And what came up for me today really strong was I have this, this ultimate goal of this really this coaching business that just reaches the people that it needs to reach. I have all this stuff in my head, but what I noticed in going back over my lenses and things is the health and vitality was actually one of the first things that I started working on in Magnetic Mind, like almost a couple of years ago. Literally, health and vitality was my thing. And I knew that if I wasn't taking care of myself properly, that I wasn't going to be able to do any of this. And this Saturn retrograde is to teach you that there's nothing wrong with us being empowered. In fact, we need to be empowered to do what we need to do to make a difference for other people. And sometimes we're afraid to be empowered in a way. And I want us to go into some things because when we think about that, we know all these Hellinger's rules, right, of parents and whatnot. And a time just came into my head in meditation today where I remember looking at my mom and her struggling so much with her weight and stuff, and she was hating herself. And I was thinking, I remember this I was doing like a negative belief flip on myself, kind of going back to a moment where I thought certain ways, right? Like thought that health and vitality was going to be something that was just always something that was in my field. And I remember thinking, I'm never going to be, overweight like my mom. She's so unhappy. But there was a time earlier than that, even, that I had already decided that I couldn't be, say, perfect if she wasn't. And things happened in my childhood to sort of make sure that would happen. And there was a point in time where I chose to not have a healthy and vital body. And a lot of that came from fear of being noticed by people, because then it was like, no one's going to notice you if you're not perfect. No one's going to, you can hide and be in the background if you're overweight. No one's going to, but that's not the case. In fact, it made her even more unsafe because she couldn't be alone. So she would let people in that wouldn't end up being what she needed, right? Like there's all these things that just from feeling, say, unworthy, it all of these things end up being our end result now of going, wait a second, okay, how did this all start? And we don't need to know, but those things will pop into your field when you're just literally choosing it, right? So when I was choosing health and vitality, all these old things started popping up, all these times where I was, just saying I would be this way or I wouldn't be this way. And as a child, we make up our minds and we go forward thinking those things. And the self-sabotaging beliefs are so crazy because there's, Chris sort of focuses on six of them, the main ones. I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, I'm not perfect, I'm insignificant, I don't belong, I can't be loved. What is the other one? Anyways, there's literally 12 that he pulled those six from William Whitecloud, from Colette Stryker, all the people that he sort of learned from. He sort of figured out six, but they're intense because there's not only all of those self-sabotaging limiting capabilities, but then there's the actual trusting yourself in that self-sabotaging belief too. So you can divide it into probably 15 to 18 different self-sabotaging beliefs. But when we look at where they come from, I found not being capable and not being worthy were two of the sort of strongest, oldest beliefs that we end up with. And it comes, when the not worthy one, it comes from being, having something that you weren't, having a nurturing moment when you were a baby not be fulfilled by your mother. So when you needed something from your mother, if you didn't get it, you already figured you weren't worthy as a baby of deserving that. So you figured out a different way to get it. And you would, scream louder, kind of like our body does when it's trying to talk to us and tell us something. It'll scream louder, it'll scream louder, it'll figure out a way to tell us. Sometimes it's running you into a semi truck in your car. Sometimes it's throwing you into jail. Sometimes it's just a huge aha moment because you made some good action choices, right? But we get these lessons one way or the other. It's just choosing the hard way or choosing the easy way. And we tend to choose the hard way. And why, right? We get in our own way. Like everything is lining up for us, but we make it difficult for ourselves. So bringing some of these little beliefs into the active experience tonight and allowing the energy of this supermoon that's coming, because we're actually on to the first true supermoon on the 14th next week that we've had all year. They've called them blood moons, wolf moons. We had a rose moon. We've had all sorts of moons. Harvest moon is in the fall. Kind of, they've named all sorts of things, but this is the actual first true supermoon. So get ready, ladies, because the shifting is about to begin. And that's what it's all about. It's there to shift us. This has all been coming up in these 2 weeks because we have this cosmic support of Saturn helping us out, allowing us to see all this uncomfortableness and finally shift it, rather than just going, I'm sick of getting these lessons over and over again. Because sometimes we think, why is this happening again? Why is this coming into my field? So I want you guys to just challenge yourselves and think about the last couple weeks or so, and even the last week. And has there been some things that have been just sort of being put in your field to let you see it very, very clearly? It's not just me. Yeah. If anyone wants to share, you guys are welcome to. We don't have a huge group tonight, so you're welcome to share if there's something that's been happening to you that you'd like to put into our cosmic field there, so I don't feel crazy all on my own.
You're
So
not
with me,
crazy.
all I remember is waking up at least twice this week out of a nightmare. And I thought that I would remember the nightmare because I was trying to think, but I did think about it during the day that day. It didn't happen this morning, but it happened 2 mornings before that. And I thought that was really strange because I really program myself before I go to sleep, you know? And so trying to step into my choices, waking up from a nightmare, it's really difficult because
Mhm.
first of all, I'm all kind of like, what's happening? Why am I dreaming this? Like, what caused this? And I can't even figure it out. Usually I can tell what a dream is telling me. These, no idea. It was like being in a dark pit, and it was
Okay.
a lot of fear. But I
Ugh.
don't remember them. I should have written them, but I didn't want to dwell on them, so I didn't write it.
That was, I think it's they're there, those dreams, because I had the same experience, a dream that I haven't had in years. I don't even know where, like, why it came. I was like, what in the world was that supposed to mean? Like, it was something way off of my, like, usually dreams are, your conscious state talking.
Yeah.
Like, this was no, like, this isn't part of my reality. Isn't part of my end result. It was just there to sort of, I think, literally show us those last few things that are ready to really be shifted, like the fear, because the fear is so huge. It's like literally telling us to just notice it. No, it's completely not a part of your vibration anymore. And that's how we let it go. Because if it doesn't come to that active experience, we can't release it. So it's really neat that that would end up coming up. Did you have something too, Samara?
Oh, well, I've just been getting a lot of sort of, I guess, through various mediums, a lot of questioning as to whether I'm on the right path myself. And it's like, why? I've just been thinking, why is this coming up? Because I know how much I want this. And
Mhm.
I feel like it's just, the universe wanting us to really, really state that this is what we want and that's it, and to really be behind it and to not have it be one little bit wishy-washy. And I think that's where we're at also collectively. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Saturn
But
retrograde is,
it's,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, I was just going to say it's very interesting how much in so many different ways it's
Yeah.
coming at me.
Yes. It's intense. It's intense. And
It
there's
is.
it throws uncertainty. It throws, hi, Michelle. Sorry, I didn't say hi to you. Thanks for coming on. Um, the Saturn retrograde is all about um, sort of like showing you your greatness, helping you actually reach it. Like it's like the chaos is over. This is time to, and it's the next 5 months over Halloween, like basically until the end of October. It gives me goosebumps. It's like the cosmic way to touch us on a physical level and support us to trust ourselves. That's like the message from the universe is
Yeah.
trust yourself. You are capable. You are worthy. You need to have this happen and everything is behind you to finally make that happen, right? But it's not easy sometimes because the other thing about Saturn retrograde, it is the self-discipline um showing. Like it is what they call it, the self-discipline review is what we call Saturn retrograde. So, how's your self-discipline? Is what we need to ask ourselves.
Uh,
Because when, hey, Michelle.
Blown out of the water since my birthday.
Right? Yeah.
It's like
It's
my daily obsession right now of like, am I holding myself accountable? Like, am I actually doing the thing? And every day, like, I get a couple hours in, I'm like, there I go again, not doing the thing. Like, where is my discipline? I
yes.
love it. I
And
love it.
this is the be it to see it, right? Like this is our opportunity to freaking shit or get off the pot, like we are, and we
Yes.
know we want this because look at us. This is a like almost a year for a lot of us that, have been sort of on a big journey like this. By next June, where are we going to be? Like one more year. Think of it as, when I looked back at my lenses and I was like from like 2 years ago, it was literally all about the health and vitality. I knew I needed to take care of myself. I knew I needed to. I have had drink enough water and get enough sleep on my lenses for a year and a half and it's like still right. And we have such power. It's in us. The thing is when we make those choices, it feels so bloody good because and it gets easier and easier, but it's just choosing to make those for ourselves and choosing to make that the priority. We get sidetracked with, I want to build this business. I want to make lots of money. And, if we're not making lots of money, it's likely because we're not slowing down to take care of those first things that were really important to us. So we're trying so hard to look for this big end result of this coaching business. Am I on a stage? Where am I? Do I have a book? Did I write a book? Am I writing a song? Am I on a podcast? All it matters is that we make that choice to actually be our own accountability partner and just pull up the boots and really do it, right? Like maybe I'm just speaking to myself, but this is the time. And I was at this place last year and I lost 30 pounds within 3 months of taking care of myself properly, letting stuff go, right? 10 of it found me again, but I remember thinking this was one of the easiest things I ever did was just ate the way I knew my body needed to eat, stopped eating late at night, stopped and it was all those things I wrote down in my lenses of what I had to do. But it got so diverged into building my business, making this, doing that, gotta get a V, gotta do this. Like it all became a way to sort of distract myself and
Yes.
focus on other things, right? So I want us to listen today to those things that have been coming up, even if it was in our dreams, even if it was whacked right out. We're going to look at some of those fears. And so, what I want to touch on really quickly is we were supposed to kind of doubt ourselves these last couple weeks. So this was supposed to all kind of come into play so that we can sort of learn what we need to right now so that we are authentic when we're teaching, coaching other people, when we're trying to just get through our life. We're not feeling like we're a fraud because we're not frauding ourselves, because we're that's the only person that we're not being authentic to. Because when we are helping and coaching and loving, we are being our authentic selves. It's just, why can't we do that for ourselves, right? Like I've found myself so many times coaching these last couple weeks and I'm just like, oh my God, I should be doing that. Like just listening to myself. But it was almost like I had to say it to be able to, like, it actually stopped me in my tracks as I was saying it. It's like, wow, we are responsible for ourselves and we can be. But one of the things that stopped me, and as a mom, as a maternal figure, even a pet mom, we might understand that I felt like I would be disempowering my kids, or if I would be doing them a disservice by doing the work for myself. And I felt like, and so for me, even that part of me that felt like I would be disempowering or taking away from my children or anything would keep me from working on myself. And so I was almost using that as an excuse. Like, well, if I'm spending that time on calls with Chris, then, I'm not honoring my kids. But the thing is they're doing just fine. They find things to do on their own and it's very good for them. They're at the age where they can. It's the perfect time. This might not be the perfect time for someone with a 3-month-old and trying to balance everything, but everything comes at us in time, right? So I'm hoping that you guys can just open yourselves up a little bit. We're just going to kind of, go into the field and just think a little bit about some of these fundamental beliefs. And I'm going to just run through the 12 very quickly. It will only take a few minutes that William Whitecloud kind of goes through, because they're really I may not make it through all of them, but they're really profound in the ways that he describes them differently coming from where they do. So the I'm not worthy was one of the really unique ones. I found that for our generation, a lot of us weren't breastfed. And so babies were forced on a bottle. And this is a big thing. If you guys have taken William Whitecloud's course, you probably have even heard him talk about this. One of the things that nursing does and breastfeeding does is it opens up that vagus nerve. So it teaches a baby how to self regulate and control themselves. And it opens up that vagus nerve. So they get that neurological flow and that oxytocin release every time they're connecting and getting that proper latch. If they're drinking from a bottle like we did, they were crap nipples. They were like, they literally would just pour down our throats. We didn't get that full jaw, like we didn't, a lot of us didn't get that full neurological pathway opening up when we were a baby. So that wasn't nurtured. We weren't, they were smoking while they were feeding us our bottle. Like, I don't know if this was just my mom, but like, that's just the way
Yeah.
it was, right? So
Yeah.
nurturing, we didn't get a lot of it. And this is, I think, why I'm unworthy comes up so much. It's not that we felt that we did something, it was like really from a really, really young age. And it is truly one of the first self-sabotaging limiting beliefs that we end up believing even before we can cognitively realize what we're doing, right? So that one I really find powerful, and I don't know many people that don't have that one. So it's one that we sort of she's breastfeeding is good. It's so true though, right? Like, it really is. I remember my aunt used to smoke and the ash would fall on her baby because she would like, it was horrible. It was horrible. I have like vivid memories of that. So,
Wow.
so that I'm unworthy. It can leave us always wanting approval. It can leave us just feeling empty and really lonely all the time. And feeling lonely is truly the one thing that nobody wants. So when we're looking at those limiting beliefs, that's almost always what it comes down to. Is there's a part of us that doesn't want to be alone, doesn't want to be loved. It's just a matter of if you're trusting yourself or if it's something else that's sort of self-sabotaging you. So when we look at I'm not good enough, that's one that's very close to, right? Or I'm not enough is also how William Whitecloud will describe it. And that one usually comes from the father's side. So the father, often when we're trying to seek father's approval, right? When they're not around, when they're kind of busy all the time, when you have to be like, dad, look what I did, look what oftentimes with a lot of kids, things like that, you'll wind up feeling just that you're not good enough. You have to win something. So they tend to be really compulsive and hardworking and sort of overachieving all the time. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to do that. And they never sort of feel like they're enough. And so that tends to, you see a lot of that in people that want to always have those certifications. They always want to sort of keep having more information, right? So we don't feel enough in one way or the other. And even if we did feel enough, sometimes we don't trust that we're enough. We may feel that we're enough, but do we really trust it? And that's that worthy too. Like, I feel worthy, but do I really trust that? Can I be worthy? And that's why I'd say look at, the family generational stuff, um, the feelings that sort of come with it. And things may just kind of pop into your field. And I'm literally mentioning this so that when we're in meditation, we're just going to sort of allow clouds to drift, and we're just going to let those little things that have come before us end up popping out into the active experience so that we can treat anything in meditation. So it'll be really nice. So yeah, so that's that father one. They often feel out of control, overwhelmed, because we're taking on so much and trying to prove how good we are. We often get lost in that, and that can be a really tough thing. Hey, Charity, welcome on. Welcome on. We're just going through some crazy stuff that's been going on this week, talking about how much stuff has been coming up in the field over the last couple of weeks. So I think you're still connecting to audio. You might not hear me. All right. So now, one of the ones that William Cloud talks about a lot is not being able to trust yourself and not being able to trust the universe. others, just simply not trusting. I don't trust. So this is a really common thing, and this also comes from the father sort of side of the family. So if they felt that people couldn't be trusted, if they were really sort of or even if they were taken advantage of, you'll end up having a few of these beliefs of having to survive, not thrive, having to always kind of be different, always sort of be separate, always kind of do it your own way. And so that ends up leading you into the not belonging and feeling insignificant as well, right? So we always have these expectations. And when we don't trust, one of the things that we will never feel is safe, which kind of makes sense, right? So when we look at trust, I end up trying to take people back to a time where they felt first that maybe they couldn't trust someone, you know? So we're going to do that in the meditation. That's what we're sort of going to explore a little bit. Just the little things that may come up. We may think of nothing. We may have something pop up. We may have something that even feels made up pop up, and that's fine too. We're going to just go with it. But those parts, the not trusting, those are the really strong ones where they feel like if they're going to do something, they might die or something horrible is going to happen if they do it. So this is also usually related to when you've had a bad experience. So I see this one with not being able to trust yourself or others. This one comes up big with money because there's a point in time where we've blown our own trust with money. We've given money to someone, never gotten it back. We've been taken advantage of. We've even felt like we were taking advantage of all sorts of things, right? Like there's all sorts of things around trust and money, and so we tend to choose to not have any versus not be able to lose it, to not trust ourselves to have it. So we just won't go for it in the first place. So it can be really a big one that stops us and keeps us from really going for what we want if we don't even trust a part of us. So we're going to go into that in the meditation a little bit too. There's a lot of violation that happens with that. So when people have had their house broken into, when they've been violated in any way, having that trust is really hard. And usually when I'm working with trust, we'll do something good like an anchor. In our wounds to wisdom, actually, we're going to do that. So that's a really fun one where we really sort of dive into each of these separately. That's why we wanted to do this wounds to wisdom, because it's literally taking those sabotaging beliefs, those limiting beliefs, and breaking them apart for half an hour, and then going into a process for half an hour, and then kind of sharing about it after. Really breaking it apart, breaking it down, kind of going into, this is just kind of a nice brain dump into all 12 and doing a little meditation to just get us ready for that shift after the full moon. I'm so excited. So I'm insignificant or I'm invisible. We know a lot about this one because it is really recognizable when people say things like, I just don't know what I want. Like they have a really hard time really getting into that end result. If other people are happy, like they're like, I'm happy now. Like, it's okay. This is usually the insignificant, but that comes as well from the father. That's the father's side. The father has a lot to do with feeling capable, feeling noticed, feeling worthy, right? We have to really sort of look at, or not worthy, sorry, capable and trustworthy. All these sort of come from the father. The father instills a lot into us, and we really want the father to love us. We really want that adoration, that acceptance from our dad. We really want to be wanted and needed by our dads, even if we haven't had a relationship like that at all. It's like this innate, especially for men, I find this innate being part of them that just wants to make dad happy so much. They just want dad to be proud of them, right? And so they will spend a lot of time self-sabotaging themselves by not doing something. Hey, Charity. They'll self-sabotage themselves by not doing something. Oh, I love that, Michelle. Just so that they don't be a failure to their dad, right? Like there's so many guys that they just want to be they just really want their dads to be proud of them. It's so strong. So yeah, we're just diving into some self-sabotaging stuff. I was saying how these last couple weeks, hi Margie, have been crazy for just bringing up resistances, like holy smackers, just wacky things that I haven't thought for years, or just I didn't even think we're in my field anymore coming up, like should you still do this? And it was like, why is that coming up? And it was a couple of flat days, like really. um Even Nikki, we were talking earlier and saying that too, like there was like a couple of days that were just like really tough this last week, and that was Mercury retrograde ending, Saturn retrograde starting, and all these things came up so that we could see them. The Saturn retrograde is now to sort of support us in our true greatness, showing our true greatness. Like it's really, really big, and dreams like crazy, crazy nightmares that mean the wackiest of things that you can't even, it's like I don't even know what that meant. Like if someone told me that and I was coaching them, I'd be like, that's wacky. Like that's just, why did that come up? Dreams, right? They've been really talking to us on different levels, but it's the bullshit I find that's coming up in the dreams. It's not the real stuff. It's like it's showing us exactly what's not going to happen. Like that stuff was there, that stuff was old, and I get goosebumps when I say that. So it's like a reaffirmation that it was kind of, they were kind of bullshitty dreams. And sometimes I think that's why some people weren't remembering them as well. But it was intense this last couple of weeks. And we have to the fall. Oh, that's wild. We'll have to explore eighth grade a little bit, because something would have happened in eighth grade that you shifted made up your mind about one of these, right? And that's what we've been sort of diving into, some of these beliefs that we made up, even not feeling like we're disempowering other people by empowering ourselves, or feeling like we're all these rules. So when we go into I'm insignificant or I'm invisible, this happens as a kid. Kids are cruel, and I see it more now, even more so than before, because feeling insignificant, there's such a, if you're not really popular on Snapchat, or if you're not getting a bunch of texts, or you don't have any friends that are reaching out to you and your sister say is, or your friends are all in a group and you're not, like you're excluded so easily right now. So kids have to be even more resilient than they were, because of that really fast, that instant gratification fact, right? Now, with us, we're not really as used to the instant gratification, but we have become so. So we can even feel that insignificance when we're not getting as many people at our class, or we're not, yeah, no, totally not, right? It can sure sneak in when you're an adult. And it's terrible when you're an adult, because we think, again, it's that being alone, that feeling of loneliness. That's the worst thing. There's people that write books just about that. I think even Teal Swan wrote one just recently about like the university of being alone, or something. Like it's, there's so much, pretty much all of the self-sabotage, all those limiting beliefs, all come back to not wanting to be alone. Like as a baby, as all of these beliefs were, it's because we want to be a part of something. Everybody does. We all want connection, and we all want love. We're made for it. We just are. It's in our human DNA to reproduce, to be with others, to, we resonate with their vibrations, right? Like it's meant to be. And so it's like innately we know, but we don't necessarily feel like we belong. And some of those things, we could be invited to a million different things, but we still may not feel like we belong. There's also those things that we're invited to that we're really not wanted at, that we have to be have to be bringing into our focus too. That if we're not really feeling like going, there's probably a reason, and that's okay too. But there's others where we have to sort of push ourselves to be able to connect again, because once we do, we're just like, oh, that was so lovely. I So many times you have to almost force yourself to go out, and then once you're there, it's a wonderful thing. But that feeling of not belonging, who am I going to talk to? Maybe it's been so rough lately, what am I going to say? Oh, my dog just got run over, and like I'm going to be great fun at a party. So we talk ourselves out of going, and in fact, it's not like that at all, right? So we end up going and having fun, and you didn't have to talk about your dog dying at all. It worked out really well, and you've even made some new friends, and things all happen for a reason. And it all sort of tells you that you're on the right path. So lately, hopefully you've been feeling like, if you're not on the right path, that you're certainly going there. And if you are still questioning it, I'm hoping after tonight that you'll just be flowing and ready for this right path, whatever it is. I was saying, Charity, too, and Margie, that sometimes we make these big choices about, the end result of having a fully abundant business and making all these huge choices. And for me, when I went back through things, what I really noticed is my health and wellness was always at the root, no matter what. And I felt like that was for me being it. That was me not just talking about how teaching everybody all the things to do to take care of themselves properly, actually doing it. And last year in this exact time, I did the exact same thing and it felt super good. And I'm ready to just rock and roll again. It's like the supermoon sort of gets you ready to be self-disciplined. This Saturn retrograde is our self-discipline review. So self-discipline all the way. This is what this next 5 months is about, to make it easier. Because during Mercury retrograde, we were still kind of all in just surviving the chaos and realizing, getting everything in play, and now it's just ready to give us this full supportive shifting. And for those people that are ready to shift, it's just cosmically so lined up for us right now. So it's so
Wow.
beautiful. So that one, of course, with insignificant being invisible, again, goes back to dad, but can affect so many things in so many ways. A lot of violation, again, a lot of survival, a lot of things where kids have had a rough go at things. They will definitely feel that a little bit more. And you see that. But one thing I found with that is, with people that have real roots, like that are from a place like the Caribbean or South Africa, or like in Jamaica when I lived there, the Trinidad, like their roots are so strong. The family is so strong, and they have this big, even in the Philippines, right? Like they have this big family support. And those insignificants don't come up with people that have that family support as much as they do with sort of our average North American, Australian English person, because it's those roots I find, and I'm totally not being, sort of racist in any way, but what I notice with the people that are sort of in our programs and things like that, that it tends to be that there are really, really, really strong roots in certain families that have grown up in these places with all that family, right? Like it makes a big difference. Yes, very, very generalizing, not to be like this person's because they're from Jamaica, they have to have roots. However, those roots, they make a difference because the village has your back in a way, right? Yeah, everyone is your family. That's it. Everybody is family, and they treat you that way. It's not um literally the from a quote from the Bible, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. If I was to ask my friend down the road, am I my brother's keeper? She'd be like, hell no. Like he does. I'm not doing that. Like the people, we just give up on people, right? It's very different. So that's being insignificant or invisible. And again, Charity and Linda and I are going to dive into all of these in a really great way, really separately. But the other one that Chris was talking about the other day was not being capable, and not having the capacity, or not having what you need, not having enough resources, right? Not having everything is there for us, whatever it is that we want. We really often think that we can't do it, we don't have it. That's just that problem orientation. So when we go into can I actually do this, we tend to question ourselves. But the thing that ends up really making a big difference for us is literally getting into um, noticing the time that we have. Time is always the trigger, I find, with capacity, because we use that. We don't have enough time. And when we really narrow it down, if we gave up our phones for an hour a day, we would likely have enough time to do whatever it is that we wanted to do fully. It's just feeling that we're capable enough to do this. If we don't feel that we're capable, even in one little way, we're going to spend that time scrolling instead, or going and spending our time taking care of someone else instead of working on our own stuff, or taking time getting sucked into someone else's drama instead of taking care of ourselves and doing what it is that we need to do. But those are how that one sort of ends up showing up, that I find. So because we're cutting into time, there's about 4 or 5 more that I didn't really get into, not need to be perfect. There is a right way to do something, is what William Whitecloud's sort of predictability is on that one. And there is a way things are, or the way the world is, he kind of goes into. But those we're going to dive into a lot more when we're talking about our limiting beliefs, when we're going into teaser for our event, right? Yeah, now you guys are going to want to come. It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited and looking forward to it. So we're going to, if you guys are up for a little meditation, we are going to just get into a nice, safe space where we're going to allow ourselves to bring up some of the things that may be holding us back. But what I really want to focus on is some of the things that we just have always wanted. You know, when I was even thinking about the things I used to wish for, it was to have a body that was healthy. You know, like that's really what I was wishing for. Maybe when I was younger, it was just to be thin like my friend Jan. But, you know, when I really look at it, that was something that I always wanted. And I had to look at, when did I make up my mind that I was not going to honor myself, that I was not going to make that a priority for myself. Because it's not that I do anything wrong, it's just that I completely lack doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, and it's like I've made super good the things that I've managed to cut out of my life over the last few years. Like it went as far as, and I've never probably even told a lot of people. I had they had put me on antidepressants when my mom had died. They had put me on painkillers when I blew out my shoulder. They had put me on sleeping pills so that I could function, and I was able to get off of all of these things completely. Even smoking, haven't drank in like hardly in years. Like I'll have a drink the odd time. Everything I've been able to sort of finally shift out that I just didn't want anymore. And now that I've gotten rid of so much, it feels like I really want to put some good stuff in. You know, I'm really ready for this. And it's been 2 years of being ready to do this good stuff. But there's a lot of people that have been in this work for even more, 15 years, that you still work with limiting beliefs almost every day, because they pop up, right? Like they don't just, we're going to recognize some tonight. It doesn't mean that they're going to go away. But what we're going to do is just fill ourselves with this energy of allowing it to just simply shift, to simply come up, to just be moved. And the weirdest things may pop up. So I want you guys to just totally play in the field with me. Just, totally just listen to the questions. I'm not going to go into like a super deep, super deep meditation, but we are going to relax the body a little bit just to get into our heart space. So what I'd like us to do first is truly get into our heart space. So by doing that, oh, my hands are getting hot already. So I'm going to end up giving you guys some energy work here too. They're just like heating up. So what we're going to do is we're going to just place our hands on our heart, and we're just going to allow our brain to simply calm down. We're going to allow our thoughts to enter our soul chamber in our heart center. So we're going to open up that center to the heart. We're going to open up that gate to the heart. And we're just going to take a few nice deep breaths, just breathing in through your nose, filling up your belly. And when you release that breath, I want you to imagine your shoulders relaxing. I want you to imagine your belly deflating, almost like a balloon, just letting all that air out. It's beautiful. And I want you guys to just imagine for a moment that you are just sitting on a beautiful sandy beach that's a private beach. And I want you to just imagine sitting in this comfortable chair, maybe lying on a towel. And you may even be really young, but I want you to just connect with your heart space right now. And I want you to think of a time where you were very carefree. And that's the age we're going to be sitting on this beach. We're going to be maybe before we had real body image thoughts going through our head, when you're just a kid and you're just a kid. And I want us to just feel what it feels like to have a healthy body. to be just being our true nature and purpose. Maybe we feel like building a sandcastle, so we just go over to the sand. Maybe we feel like just bunching up a towel and rolling onto our tummy and lying there and feeling the sun just kiss our legs and our back. I want you to just be having fun, doing what you want to be doing, sitting on that beach. I see some people starting to just slowly walk along the beach. And I want you to just imagine all the muscles in your body, feeling your breath start to enter them, feeling all the cells start to just fill with breath, fill with energy. Right now, with this supermoon coming, our cells are filling. You may have even noticed that things are a little heavy or swollen around the ankles lately when they haven't normally been. And if they haven't, you might notice that over the next few days as we get closer to that big moon. And I want you to tune into what those cells feel like. It's like they're liquid, that they're just filled a little too full. I want you to notice those cells that need a little flushing out right now. And I want you to allow your breath to go right down to your feet. As you're breathing in, I want you to take a breath that fills your whole body all the way down to your feet. And as you notice that breath start to fill those cells in your feet, I want you to just imagine that there are some roots that are growing down into the earth, into Mother Earth. From your feet, it's like there are these beautiful little roots that are just anchoring you down into Mother Earth, tapping into the earth's vibration, tapping into the earth's energy, and feeling almost like taps are opening into your body that are allowing your cells to start being filled with light. I feel a sort of a white, light purplish light starting to fill right from the toes, right from underneath the feet. Imagine those taps turning on to those roots and just being able to infuse all of the beautiful energy of the earth starting to come up and cleansing every cell of your body. Examining the path that we're on. Noticing your feet have been grounded in the same spot for a long time. Noticing you've been tapping into the earth's energy, but you're finally ready to let it move this energy through your body. Start to feel those tingles come in through your feet. Almost as though it's a plasma light that's just starting to fill every single cell of your feet. And as it's doing that, it's like a healing light, like a scan that's just starting to move through. Imagine this plasma starting to move up into your heels and filling your ankles, and just allowing that light to infuse and encircle your ankles and your shins. Feeling those roots still grounding you down deep into the Mother Earth as far as you can't even see them anymore. And allow that energy to start to infuse into your shins and up through your knees. Where all of that heaviness is, maybe it's even been heavy to lift the legs. And I want you to start feeling that heaviness be shifted into light. That fluid sitting inside of those cells just to be shifted into the ether. And as that light starts to encompass every cell of your knees and your shins, you start to feel it relaxing all those muscles. Notice your feet, notice those shins relaxing all of those muscles. And relaxing the upper thighs as you feel that energy start to move up and lighten every single cell in your thighs, almost like it's circling around them. wrapping every single cell in this beautiful light and just infusing darkness. All of those things that may have held us back in the past, all those root feelings of not belonging, bringing those down into the pelvis and relaxing all of your pelvic floor muscles right now. Relaxing those sphincters, relaxing the muscles that you're sitting on. Just allowing that light to slowly seep up in through the pelvis, in through the bones, in through the pelvic floor, just allowing that light to infuse all of those violations, all of those feelings of being unsafe. I want you to notice anything that's coming up for you in the field right now, where you first decided that you were unsafe, where you first saw that you were violated, that your power was taken away. And just feeling your feet grounding down into the earth, feeling that light move through the pelvis as a beautiful shift starts to happen. As that light is able to carry away and literally infuse the negativity, anything holding you back, literally to infuse that energy back down into the earth, replacing it with this beautiful purple light. This beautiful whitish purple light that's just filling your whole body. Now I want you to notice some of those boundaries that were crossed as we get into that sacral plexus, all of those financial struggles that you watched, all of those financial worries that you watched everyone carry, or maybe just the rules. When did you decide that you couldn't be trusted with money, or you couldn't be trusted to have more than someone else? When did you decide that you were taking something away from someone else? When did you decide that having it meant that someone else couldn't? Noticing now that there was different choices, then we just didn't see them. I want you to just imagine letting those go, letting that light infuse through that whole lower back, through the whole lower pelvis, going into the bladder, the feelings of not enough. Those feelings of holding you back, keeping you restrained, not letting you be free, not letting you just be unapologetically who you are. Those times you were told you couldn't be, it couldn't be. Letting those go. Just noticing maybe some of those times that you were told you couldn't have something, even if it was just a bit of time that you wanted. As we move up into that solar plexus, just breathe through that. I really feel you just wanted time. Knowing what it is you need to do now to make sure that other people understand what your time is worth. Your time is the one thing that we never know how much of we have left. Whew. I want you guys to just take a few nice deep breaths and just allowing that energy, that light energy, to start moving up through that solar plexus. Spending some time in those personal boundaries, knowing all those times we violated our own boundaries. I want you to allow yourself to go back to a time where you made a decision that you would probably make a different one now, about who you gave something to, whether it was your time, whether it was yourself, whether it was your energy. I want you to just choose to take that back right now. We're just going to literally flip that around. We're kind of making up the reality of that point anyways, so let's just make it up that we didn't give it away. And that we actually still have that. And I want you to just feel that, because it's still us. It's still in us. It didn't break us. It simply allowed us to know where we clearly would not be giving ourselves away again in any way, shape, or form. Whether it was money, whether it was our heart, knowing that we can trust ourselves to know who to give our heart to know who to give our time to. And just allow that light to move up into the heart as we hold that space for ourselves of love that we give everyone else. And I want you to, for a moment, remember a time where you wouldn't receive love. And just allow that. Someone was trying so hard to give you love and you didn't know how to receive it, but that's okay. Because now you do. They may still be trying to give you love, and you just finally chose to accept it. Or maybe you just finally chose to start loving yourself. Because no one's going to love you like you. And I want you to just allow that heart space to just fill with love and compassion. And I want you to think now about a time where you had so much love to give, it was spilling over and it was received so fully. It may be by a puppy licking your face. It may be by your dog who just is so happy to see you when you get home. That full exchange of absolute beauty. A hug from someone who just loves you. I want you to just feel that right now. And no matter what limiting beliefs are there, we're going to make that promise to ourselves right now to care. To care about ourselves, to care for ourselves. And right now I want you to just notice back as you're on this beach. Notice what age you might be on that blanket. Notice what that image of you wants to say to you right now. And I want you to imagine that you are just lying there, sitting there, enjoying, whether you're building that sandcastle, walking, lying. I want you to just turn your focus onto the clouds that are just floating very beautifully like cotton balls through the sky. And they're just floating as fast as they need to go. And as our superconscious is just lined up in this field, where both sides of our brain, both masculine and feminine, are aligned, our brain is ready to show us some magic. And I'd like you to just ask yourself, what are you truly capable of? What do you really know you can do? And allow that first thing that came up to stay in your field. something you're perfectly capable of. I want you to just choose that right now. As we let this light move up through our throat, I want you to feel okay to say, I just want to, what is it? Might be the simplest of little things. I just want to love myself. I just want to. And I just want you to feel that right now. Wanting it, choosing it with every bone in your body. And if you guys will, in your mind's eye, just allow me to connect with your superconscious and ask for any resistance to this true choice to just be brought up into this active experience right now. Anything that came up for us earlier in these self-sabotaging techniques, anything that we are ready to actually let go of, allowing us to get out of our own way, to stop stopping ourselves, just tagging and treating any resistance that's coming up in the field and doing a massive change history on that. I feel a little shakiness where things are just letting go. We're just going to go back through any events that may be contributing to these self-sabotaging techniques, to anything of these resistances that are coming up to keep us from just achieving this. Please tag and treat any of these events. Going back way even before you were born, there were some things that happened that were set so far back. You heard them before you were even born, and just allowing all of those to come up. Doing a massive change history on those, cleaning and clearing all of those from the field. All parallel universes, part personalities, bringing all of those on board. All of those parts of us that defragmented, that were literally violated, vandalized, things that have happened that should never happen to anyone, just allowing all of those things that were buried down, that were really tough, but not serving anymore and just causing resistance. Just allow any of those within our parts and personalities, within our protector, controller, within our inner child. The teacher, the leader, the student, allowing all of those to simply come together, working towards the most amount of satisfaction and the least amount of pain. Asking all personalities to just literally work together, allowing the ease and flow, simply like a river, watching the water flow within its structure, and allowing anything to just drift by like a cloud in the sky. Noticing it, you may even put a feeling on it, a name, letting it float by, letting it release, and letting the energy in your body start to move all the way up to the head. And I want you to imagine in front of you seeing this true end desire. Maybe it's just being healthy. Maybe it is being that true, predominant, creative force, taking your power back, owning that power. You know how powerful you are. You've felt how powerful you are. I want you to feel that. Almost like your third eye is opening up and showing you this movie of this empowered, healthy, moving, beautiful soul on a cosmic level of soul cells, just shifting and moving in such beauty and light. That's you. Allow yourself to be your true end desire. Allow yourself to really prove to yourself what you can do. You're not proving it to anybody else. And opening that crown chakra like a light in the sky, just Picture that light moving right out of your skull, and I want you to just take some deep breaths. And as you do that, I want you, as you're breathing out, to imagine that air leaving the top of your head. So breathing in, filling your head, filling your throat, filling your body, filling your belly, and breathing out, letting that air feel like it's shooting out the top of your head. And I want you to keep doing that as we allow the superconscious field to just bring anything up as these clouds are passing, anything else that is ready and safe right now to be treated in the field and ready to be let go. Letting Saturn's cosmic energy simply fill you, the Earth's energy, light energy, source energy, recognizing it's all the same. It's all inside of you and it's all connected to each and every one of us. Allowing that violet light to simply fill your whole body. And as it does, I want you to really feel that whole crown chakra. Oof, there's some heaviness up there. Knowing our intuition, trusting yourself, trusting others, trusting the universe. Knowing that nothing around you is in your control but you. All the other people, it's all their stuff. You are responsible for you. Just allowing some trauma to move through that heart. There's so much grief, so many things we've taken on for other people and held. Felt like we were responsible even, and I want you to just notice right now, all those people you're not responsible for anymore. But notice the one that you are responsible for and how much of an impact it makes when that one soul inside of you is empowered. I want you to feel that power exuding from your crown chakra right now, shooting out the top of your head. And superconscious, we're just going to go through any family history, any broken agreements with that, tagging and treating all that, doing a massive super recode on all timelines, morphic field. And allowing that fire to start burning our bellies again. That fire when you're just finishing working with someone and you've just made a huge shift in their lives. So that fire that when you just had that power to go inside of you and just know the truth, to just surrender. And I want you to notice that you can trust yourself to surrender, finally, that you're safe. You're safe in Saturn's energy. You are safe in the cosmic field, and you are safe in the morphic field. And now you are safe from yourself. You are truly never alone because you're never going to let yourself be alone again or feel alone. Whether you're with someone, whether you're not, you're never going to abandon yourself again. And I want you to just notice if there's any more clouds in the sky. And if there is, just let them float by until they just seem like clouds. Nothing you need to name. And I want you to tune back into your body, feeling that sun kissing your skin. And I want you to bring yourself into this age and this body. And I want you to just take a few nice deep breaths as you make a choice right now, a choice that feels really good for you. I just choose the end result of taking care of myself, being my own best friend. I want you to see it. I want you to play it. I want you to look at a picture of your body posture. It doesn't matter if your body was perfect to start with and it's still perfect. It doesn't have to change. I want you to just notice how you feel in it. Do you have to have a perfect body? No. Can you teach people what it's like to have a perfect body if you don't have a perfect body? You absolutely can. But if you've struggled with it, you may be able to help people even more because you understand. If you've struggled with addictions, you may be able to help people because you understand. If you can help people with just getting out of their own way because you finally did, do you think you'd be here right now so that you didn't have to learn any of these lessons? Everything we learn every single day is just to bring us closer to that true end desire of being who and what we want to be. Not because we give it our power, but because we want our power back. Oh, I want you to feel that power. I want you to feel how good it feels and looks to be in your power. To really know, hell yeah, I'm doing this. I'm still doing it. I wouldn't have been doing this for a year if I didn't really want this. I wouldn't have been wanting this since I was a kid if I didn't really want this. This is my true life's purpose. I want you to just choose that right now. And when you guys are ready, I want you to just take a few nice deep breaths. And just wiggle a toe, allow that grounding. We're going to ground all this into the matrix of the universe. And just tagging and treating anything else in the field that may need to be tagged and treated today. Doing a massive change history on anything we may have missed. Aligning all of ourselves, draining that fear, draining that feeling of untrust. And I'm just going to share very briefly how beautiful and safe I felt in all of your energies, being able to just share with the fact that I was ashamed that I gave my power away to a doctor to tell me that if I just took painkillers, I could go back to my job and I could keep serving everyone like I was supposed to and not get help from an insurance agency. I should just push through and should just go back to what I was doing. And I knew for probably a few years before that that I had to stop doing the work I was doing. After so many years, my body just couldn't take it anymore until it threw me so far out that it was hard to get back. And I don't know that I would have found my way back if it wasn't for this work. And these people and all you guys being there and giving that safe space to allow these shifts to happen, because this all is not a mistake being here right now. I just noticed poor Jessie was in our waiting room while I had my eyes closed, so I'm just going to admit her for a quick share here and then we can let go. How did you do, Charity? I see you on camera, so I'm going to pick on you. How did you do?
Oh, that was beautiful.
I started off in Loganlit, so it was actually a community that's it was nuns that started off, and they had sorry.
Poor Jessie. No, that's okay. Jessie's there.
Um,
Sorry, go ahead, Charity.
I oh, that was beautiful. It's just what I needed. I hopped on because I'm still recovering from the COVID, but
Thank you
it
for
was
making
so
it.
yeah, no, thank you. It was so good to just I could just feel my body. Just I felt things shifting and moving and relaxing. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad. I love it. Michelle shared that she used to radiate that intimidated people. So thank you for that. Lots of healing around confidence. I used to radiate that intimidated people, so I started repressing it to fit in, and I still don't fit in. Isn't that amazing? We think that that we can't be confident, that we don't want to make other people uncomfortable, that we don't want to make other people feel a certain way. So we tend to take that on ourselves. And one of the big things about this whole Saturn retrograde is that it really makes us recognize it is our own stuff, not so much others. It really is all about us and how we are filtering things and how we choose to go about things. Pardon me. Every time I end up doing recodes, I'm either sneezing or burping, so sorry about that. How about you, Margie? I saw you went off mute. Did you want to share with us at all? Yeah, you guys, absolutely. If you don't want to share, I'm just giving you a few minutes to hop on if you want to. Go lie down and stay asleep, whatever you need to do.
I I will share. I had a hard time finding an age where I felt that, you know, I I felt kind of like
Freedom?
safe and
Mm,
yeah, I
that's
couldn't
telling.
find an age. It was like, oh my God, I felt like this so long. So I had a hard time and I finally went, just pick something.
Good for you. Good for you.
So
And that's what we have to do sometimes because yeah, it probably was before you were born. Because I felt that like there was a lot of stuff from before the even being born that was kind of um taking play. It was really interesting. Like I felt like I was in a womb and my hands are sweating right now. Like they are wet. It's like, can you see that? They're wet. Like this is crazy. That was some serious energy work. So that's good. So I hope you didn't struggle too much with that, Margie, that you were at least able to. And it was interesting. I was at the beach and then I really needed to kind of keep grounding us, bringing us through those energy centers really slowly because there was so much stuff in each one. It was really interesting. I love doing groups because it's like I'll be walking on the beach and then I'm lying there and then I could feel someone all curled up on. It was really neat. It's like, I don't know exactly who it is, but I'm with you. It's really wild.
well, thank you. And
It's
my
so
mom died about a year ago, and I've been struggling with some of it because I never felt a lot of love from her at all. So I've been working on this not only with you but somebody else as well. Um anyway, it is what it is. I've got to work through it.
Yeah, and you know what the cool thing is this is a new opportunity. It's wild. Yesterday, I had 4 clients and every single one had either just lost a person within like the last week. Like I see a guy weekly. I got off the phone with him Thursday, Friday his dad died. Totally unexpectedly. Same thing with the client right before that. And the one right before that was she lost her son 2 years ago. And there's all this grief, right? It's so hard. But the magical thing that came out yesterday, Margie, was the 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 way that they can connect with us now is quite incredible. And they connect with us now. She can give you the love now that she never could because they're still in the field with us, right? It's like they're still able to give us that love, but almost in the relationship that we really needed. They can tell us the things now that we really needed to know, like, they did our best, or they kind of did that because they thought they were helping. We do some processes where we'll get into a family dinner table and we'll look at what mom and dad were actually saying. And it's really neat because we go in the field. We don't need to know. We get these answers, and it's a beautiful process. So we'll do that next week when I talk to you. We'll have to get together. Yes,
Thank you.
most definitely. Yes, it'll be beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. If I accidentally muted you and you want to unmute, by all means, go ahead and just hit mute, and it'll ask me to unmute you because there's some that I might have muted by accident when we were in meditation. And I apologize, Jesse. I was like totally in recode land and didn't even see you pop in there. So I will send you the recording so you have it all on your own.
You finished. Okay, so it's early now, is it?
We do it at 7 p.m. my time, same time, 7 p.m. my time. But I am doing, starting next week, I'm doing another one that's the hour after. So yeah, it must have just missed you. It's always the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, it's 11. So and that was 10. So maybe
It
if
is-
your daylight
is-
savings
yeah.
started.
It is 10 for you. Yeah, 10 on Saturdays. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know how we messed that up.
Yeah, no, it's me then.
No.
Okay.
But yes, I'll make sure you get the recording right away for that so that you can do it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm on high speed right now, so it'll download very, very quickly. In fact, I'm going to stop recording now just so that it already starts. So thank you so much.